Hello everyone and welcome to Trackside with Tom. We are up north today in the snowy white hinterland of central Wisconsin. And I see that Paul Holacek is on here. He's I was hoping that he would have Frosty the Snowman built out in front of the camera for us, but apparently not. It is, however, quite wintry and very snowy up here in Stevens Point, Wisconsin this afternoon. So, hello everyone. We have Ian and Paul and Eric, Michael, Barry, Dave. Good to see you guys all today. Just so you know, this is actually going to be our final live program of 2022. I've basically determined that with having the kids home for the next couple of days and not being able to, I can't really do an episode like this with 5 kids running around the house, and then with my wife due basically any time, I've just decided that this is going to be the final episode for 2022, and we will be able to allow everyone to enjoy their holidays, the Christmas and New Year's, and we'll be back in 2023 with all kinds of exciting content for people to enjoy. So, I was really hoping that we had a train nearby at Stevens Point. I thought for sure that I heard a southbound talking on the radio earlier. And so that's why I jumped in here earlier. I have the ATCS Superior sub pulled up, or I'm trying to pull it up anyway, to see where the closest train is. And I'm not seeing anything just yet. It hasn't loaded for me yet, but I'm sure we're going to get there soon. So anyway, today we are going to do a little bit of a retrospective for the 2022 year. Check the other camera. Thank you, Tyler. Let's take a look. Oh, there it is. There is Frosty the Foamer. Frosty the Snowman. Yes. Thank you, Paul, for entertaining us with the snowman on Stevens Point South. Definitely appreciate that. And you can see him gently waving in the breeze here. Excuse me, pardon me. So anyway, in today's program, we are going to do just a little bit of a retrospective view of 2022 today. And we need to, alright, that's why. So if I load, please tell me that the Superior sub, it is. There we go. Superior sub aggregator. And look at that, here we go. And we are looking for, yes, there is. There's a southbound line between Rocky Run and Point, line down into the yard. So hopefully we're going to see him very quickly here. And then hopefully there may be a northbound ready to depart Point once this southbound clears up in the yard. So we might get a little bit of action here. So, yes, Stevens Point South. And thank you, Paul, for setting up this very festive snowman that we have out here in your front yard, or backyard, I suppose, however you want to describe it. So, as we, got to turn the radio down just a little bit here. I'm expecting that we will see the southbound any moment now. maybe hear the defect detector go off at 251 as well. And, oh, there goes the defect detector. So, we're definitely getting close. Oops. I paused it.
No defects. Temperature 12. F. Total axles 312. Speed 16.
All right. So there's your answer. And Paul says it's a southbound Q train coming. Which surprises me a little bit, I guess, that he's lined into the yard. But so be it. So we have the CN3067 as our leader. And it looks like we have an international container train, a Hapag Lloyd container on the head end. And some of these cylinders, excuse me, cylinders that they load in rectangular frames and then put in the well cars. Those are always kind of interesting to see.
16, you lined up for 22 track. I'm on your airpoint. Gonna ring back for.
I will admit I do not know what is in those containers. I'm not familiar with the commodities that they would load for that purpose. And then we have, you know, some Triton containers, Seco, Beacon. So lots of containers that you would expect. Kai. Yeah, lots of containers that you would expect on some kind of a international shipping containers. Excuse me. Would have been offloaded from tank-tainers. Yes, exactly, Barry. That is exactly right. They are tank-tainers. That's a good way to describe it. So, knowing all this, we are rolling this guy by, and I did not catch his train length off of the defect detector, but he's rolling by kind of slow, taking the turnout into the yard. Bowl call. That's interesting. There's more of those tank-tainers going by. That's a nice little term that you've coined there, Barry. I don't know if you came up with that yourself or somebody else came up with it for you, but definitely interesting. And lots of single stacks also. So now we're getting into the EMPs, which is the pool that is managed by Union Pacific, and a CN container up there on the head end. Or not on the head end, but on this, I suppose the head end of this cut of double stacks. So there was a 3-pack that went by. There's another 3-pack. And it is kind of interesting to note the differences. So there's quite a few 3-packs here, it looks like, going by. Again, lots more of the EMP containers. Off my brain. Came up with it all on your own. Now, this CN, that is a CN boxcar, but I wonder if that is one of the CN cars that they use to help maintain air pressure throughout the train. In the winter, sometimes you see these CN boxcars. They look like boxcars, but they actually have generators in them that help maintain air pressure. M356 with stack fill in up front. And now we're getting into more of a auto rack train. And we've got CSX, Ferromex, NS, BNSF coming up here. Very interesting stuff. What's this next one? I don't even see... It's got the reporting marks, but it doesn't have any heraldry on the outside. That silver-sided auto rack. CSX here. NS. And he is really slowing down. I think that we are going to have to... I think that we're going to have to probably switch over here. There's a UP auto rack. Excuse me. Well, and maybe this is the rear of the train. Here is a DPU. This might literally be... Oh, no, that DPU is cut in. Cut into the middle of the cut of auto racks. And... now we have more auto racks coming. All right. So as this guy slowly makes his way into the yard, we are going to go ahead and switch off of this. Thank you, by the way. Thank you, Paul, for making sure that we had a very festive time there at Stevens Point. We're going to go down to Mount Pleasant now, because right before the program began, I actually got a tip from Patrick Shea letting me know that we had a westbound train getting very close to Mount Pleasant. So we're going to switch over to the Mount Pleasant downtown camera. Here we go. And when I spoke with him a little bit earlier, it was just a couple miles outside of town, and yeah, it does look like it's gone by. So we're going to back up just a little bit here. And oops. I went and switched it back over to live. We got to back up just a bit here. There we go. So a couple of BNSF motors on the head end, and then it looks like that this may be a BNSF system empty hopper train. I see a lot of home shop reporting marks, so to speak. And yeah, there's actually a BN hopper, a couple of them in there. So I did see some privates in there as well, some private cars, but lots of BN and BNSF hoppers in this train. That it definitely gives the appearance of a train that is, pardon me, one of the BNSF system empties. So let's see here. CN and CP do not see eye to eye. Yes. It's interesting how UP cut ties with CP on the EMP pool and added CN. Well, yes. So this was something that was interesting from about a month ago. The UP actually sees the CP as a competitor now in container traffic going north and south. And so they kicked out CP from the EMP container pool in response to their merger application with the Kansas City Southern. And so that is the reason why, and then they apparently invited CN into the pool instead. And there goes the DPU, so that's the rear of our empty coal train. Now, our actual camera agenda for today is going to be to jump over to West Liberty and Grinnell. And those are the two that I specifically wanted to talk about. Thank you, by the way, to our private host up in Stevens Point, and thank you to the Mount Pleasant Coffee Depot for hosting us in Mount Pleasant, Iowa, with the fantastic view of the Amtrak depot. And we are going to go over to Mount Pleasant, and we need to see I don't know if I can pinpoint it or not, but the UP should have gone south here at some point, and I don't know if I can find them. But it's always an interesting little catch when we can pull in these UP locals with some of the non-standard power, not the road power that they run around with frequently, but the more non-standard, like the EMD standard cabs, excuse me, and the smaller switch engines that they run around with from time to time. So I'm not finding it quickly here. I do know that the Iowa Interstate in this neck of the woods runs in the afternoons. But we do have the Grinnell Mayflower community, and they are our fabulous hosts here in Grinnell. And actually, you know what? I know exactly what we can do. Instead of doing this, we're going to go over and check out the highlight video from Grinnell of the donation train going by about a month ago. And all I have to do is go back and scroll down to find where it went by. And we'll do, here we go. So this is the UP donation train. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Now we got it. When it was on its way from Council Bluffs to Silvis across the Iowa Interstate. And see the head end going by, and then the Challenger rolling through Grinnell. And this was actually the move that convinced me that we needed to switch it over to full daylight mode based on how well this worked out. You see, there it goes back again. There's the 5511 rolling through Grinnell. And then the variety of passenger coaches that were also part of the move. And finally, well, the third engine that's coming up is the DDA 40X. So you can go through and watch the entire donation train roll-bys on the highlights section of the Steel Highway YouTube channel. If you go to the... Alright, we're going to back out of this. We won't watch the whole thing. But basically, if you go over here to videos, and you can see all of the different highlights that the Steel Highway YouTube channel has. And that was just a short clip of one of those highlights. So, thank you to the Grinnell Mayflower community for hosting us in Grinnell, Iowa. And we're going to jump now over to West Liberty. And the West Liberty Rock Island Depot, which is our fantastic host here in West Liberty. And it is... Oops. There we go. I don't know why it did that. The West Liberty Rock Island Depot, which is run by the West Liberty, which is run by the West Liberty Historical Society, is our fantastic host in West Liberty, and they are open on the weekends. I don't know if they're open these next couple of weekends because of the holidays, but generally, you can get into do a tour of the West Liberty Rock Island Depot on many, many weekends throughout the year. Pardon me. So we're going to roll back here and find I believe it's going to be the morning westbound rolling by West Liberty. And as I scroll back through here, Cliff McFerrin is our host in West Liberty. And he is there we go. Wait, there we found it. Look at that. All right. So this morning, hang on. Go back just a little bit more. So as we see our westbound rolling through this morning with a pair of Gevos on the head end and then some ethanol tankers and quite a few covered hoppers. I believe that this is our, well, we're looking for the intermodal traffic, obviously. But I believe that this train is, in fact, our BICB rolling westbound this morning through West Liberty. So, hello, Stephen Kern. How are you doing today? Yes, there is our intermodal traffic on the Iowa Interstate. A healthy cut of containers rolling through on the westbound this morning. And so, wow, I'm pretty impressed here. That's quite a few. There's an empty well car. But quite a bit of intermodal traffic on the Iowa Interstate. All in the rear of BICB today. Cutthroat Drummer, hello, nice to see you. Welcome to Trackside with Tom. Definitely glad to have anybody here. You know, someday next year, and I know that I've said this before, but when we resume in 2023 in January with episodes of Trackside, we're definitely going to have a Bring a Friend Day to Trackside with Tom. And I realize that there's a lot of people that watch this program that do not watch it live, but watch it later in the day or in the afternoons. But just know that we definitely appreciate any time that people tell more of their friends and bring more viewers in to watch the episodes of Trackside. So thanks, guys. So Cutthroat Drummer, where are you from? Are you somewhere in the upper Midwest that you live near one of the cameras that we already have available here? As I scroll back a little further by West Liberty, I'm looking to see if I can find the eastbound SASI running somewhere. Oh, I think I found it. Here we go. So this headlight in the distance is going to be eastbound Iowa's interstate, going by 5:30 this morning. And you know, you look at this may have been potentially a Walcott meet. I mean, maybe they ran them all the way down into Silvis. But this might have been a Walcott meet also, with the westbound that went by. So if I have the timing of this all correct, so we have a single Gevo leading, and we've got many Gons on the head end, some tanks, boxcars. So I am not from lots and lots of tank cars here that it looks like that'd be South Amana traffic. Maine. Well, you know, we have actually featured the Boston and Maine cameras on this program. So this is actually CBBI with all these empty well cars running through. You know, we saw a big healthy cut of loaded intermodal going west, and now we've got empty well cars going east for reloading, I suppose, or repositioning equipment. And then another cut of tankers here. Let's see here. Told my friend Jonah in Springfield, Missouri about your upcoming cam on the CN in Duluth. Yes. Adding any cameras in central and southern Illinois next year. Well, I'm going to tell you, I have a lot of places in downstate Illinois that I would love to get cameras in, but I don't have anything solid at this time. As we see the rear of our train go by. Now, it's not to say that nothing will happen. Bachman Farms, is there somewhere in particular that you are interested in, or somewhere in particular that you're looking at that you wanted to be able to point out as a possibility? Because I have a half dozen leads for different locations in downstate in Illinois, but nothing that I've been able to solidify yet. Learning the railroad lingo so I'm not lost listening to the scanners. Well, this is the place to come. We try very hard to educate people about what is going on in the railroad world. So, let's see what we've got here. Next, I'm going to jump over to Bellevue. Now, the CP is supposed to be turning on the CTC on the south end of the Marquette sub today. And I don't know that it's happened yet. But hopefully, we're going to get something. Hopefully, we're going to get some confirmation of that potentially later today. But in the meantime, we have the city of Bellevue. Oh, and again, thank you to our host in West Liberty for the West Liberty Historical Society for hosting us down there at that location. Now, I'm going to go back through Bellevue and look for either K38 or K39, the locals that run between Dubuque and Savannah, to try to see if we can get a roll by here, because it's just such a beautiful scene going through downtown Bellevue. So if you are in Maine there, Cutthroat Drummer, there is a Boston and Maine webcam channel that we have featured here at different times on Steel Highway as well. And seem to have some really good guys that are running the channel. And they have several webcams and probably, 4 or 5, 6 of them maybe, out of about 15 that are geared toward railroads. And then they have other places that they have webcams as well. Amtrak number 6 is currently only about 17 hours behind. Thank you, Larry Osborne. Yeah, the eastbound Amtrak, they definitely struggle getting across the Rocky Mountains in the winter. That is a ongoing problem. Let's see here. If I can't, let me find a train here to roll by. I was really expecting to find something before now off of, well, there goes the scanner radio. So I'm not sure exactly. You see, right now, I think that the CP is literally in the middle of cutting this over. So they might have been holding trains, allowing the signal crew to do their work. But I'm surprised that I'm not finding anything even earlier in the morning here as I scroll back through. Prepping for storm delays. Yeah, exactly. They're just practicing to make sure that when the storm hits, and that's something else too that we'll talk about a little bit later. There's a massive storm expected to hit here in the upper Midwest in the next Thursday and Friday, well, Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday time frame. And let's find, come on Bellevue, show me a train. Because apparently it's been a little bit dead here today. But I'm certain if I go back far enough, I'm going to find something. It's just a matter of how far I have to... Oh, there we go. I found it. Look at that. So, went back to 5:56 this morning. And I think this is going to be the K38. As we have the lights going on. Excuse me. And now, while this train is rolling by, I definitely want to try to find you a link for Boston and Maine. So we have a UP leader, and then a KCS motor, and my best guess is that this is the K38 going north, or a very, very late 261, which I suppose is also possible. Alright, Boston and Maine live. And let's see here. They have 21 live streams, and I think they've got 3 or 4 of them that are Railcam, that are actual railroad cameras. So what I'm going to do is, for anybody that wants to check this out, oh yeah, that guy's a little shorty. So that is the link to Boston and Maine live. If you want to check that out, get something that's a little more in your area. And they have cameras, it looks like, in Boston, Chester, and Westfield, and then Greenville Junction in Maine. So 3 cameras in Massachusetts, at least 1 in Maine, and I'm not seeing any other rail cameras, but I might just be scrolling through it too fast here also. So, yeah, no problem. Happy to send some traffic to a friendly webcam channel. And let's see here. As I go back here further, excuse me, I'm really hoping to find the 260 and the 261. And I don't know how far back I'm going to have to go. Hello, Eli. Good to see you in the chat today. So as we go back here, that train was a little too short for my purposes. So I'm going to go back. I do want to see what power the 260 came south with overnight. And currently, this is a train that usually the 260 and 261 often make meets either at Dubuque, which is north of this location, or Green Island, which is to the south. And they are very often going through the Bellevue camera in the overnight hours or very, very early in the morning. So as I think I found it now. Let's keep going back and see what we've got here. Again, the nighttime view here in Bellevue is just fantastic. Okay, so you're in the Bangor, Maine area. Got it. All right. Excuse me. So we have a CP AC 4400 in the lead. And definitely a cut of tank cars here on the head end. But I'm curious to see... Pardon me. I'm pretty sure that this is not a solid tanker train. I thought that I saw other traffic toward the end of it. But I guess we'll see what we get here. So thank you to our hosts, the 2nd Street Station in Bellevue. They have fantastic food. If you ever want to go check it out, and the pizza and all kinds of good stuff. Yes, another Ed Burkhart Railroad. So, all right, let's see here. Buchanan Farms, Decatur, Toscolo, Tolono, Effingham, Centralia, and Springfield. Certainly, you know, I would even point out, I lived in Springfield, Illinois for 18 months in 2018 and 2019, and I'm somewhat familiar with the area. And the depot there in Decatur that's near the Waback Junction, that would be a fantastic location. I agree. And as I read through the comments here some more, excuse me, as I read through the comments here some more, cameras in your area: Kearney, Nebraska, Grand Island, Kearney, Nebraska, Grand Island, which are both other railcam providers, and then Carroll in western Iowa, which is a steel highway camera. So yes, you get some ideas of places that you can have cameras out there for sure. And yes, the Decatur line is Decatur in eastern Illinois, which I believe uses some ex-DM&E switch engines that are still, or ex-IC&E switch engines that are still in the blue and yellow paint, at least for now anyway. And then 1245, yeah, so we got this northbound at about 149, and then we'll go back to 1245. Eli, I'm doing well today. Thanks for asking. So, anybody that wants to
Line 2220, be prepared to stop following switch until known to be in normal position north. NORCH switch at more 4006, T-line check 220.
So we're hearing a track warrant actually. The train is getting a track warrant, which is their authority to proceed between 2 points in a certain direction on the main line. So apparently they're going to Edmore for a meet and then going on, excuse me, and then going on from there up to Eckards, which is, I don't know, about 60 or so miles north of where we're at right now. So let's go back a little bit further, if we can still get... Yep, I think I found it. We are just about there. Hello, Ian. How are you doing today? So we've got a 260 coming south now. This is the one that I was originally looking for. And a pair of BNSF motors, apparently. We have a BNSF swoosh. Oh, a golden swoosh. All right. We have the BNSF swoosh and the BNSF golden swoosh. Yes. And a long string of empty bulkhead flats here on the head end. And hello to Luke. And actually, seeing Luke on there also reminds me of something else. Thank you to everyone who has submitted photos for the next issue of Steel Highway. I actually went through and organized all of the photos last night. And everything that's been submitted so far. There's a coil car that doesn't have any covers on it. That's interesting. Yes, I went through and cleaned up my email last night also. So, that was definitely one of my projects last night. I had to go through, the first step in laying out a new magazine is always to download all the photos that have been submitted and organize them and just kind of see where I'm at with things. So that was job number one last night. And I went through and cleaned up the email a little bit as well. So this is our Canadian Pacific in Bellevue, Iowa, and it's the southbound 260 train that operates from St. Paul to Kansas City. Oh, yeah. Well, Eric, it's fine. Don't beat yourself up that it was trailing. It was still, you're absolutely right, it still ran by. And somebody pointed out it's made a couple of trips back and forth. There's some blue KS hoppers. That's something interesting that I've not particularly seen before. So that, not something to particularly stress out about, no. So as we continue to roll this southbound by, what I am going to say is, you know, thank you, Luke, and thank you, everybody that has submitted photos for the next issue of Steel Highway. And the magazine, I've started working on it last night. My goal is to have it in the mail on February 1st so that it can be headed out to all of the different, headed out to all the different subscribers. Eli is in the UK. Well, we have had some international viewers before. Definitely good to see you. I don't think that you're going to see any Deltics going by any of these cameras today. But, you know, that's what you get when you're in the United States. Lots of GE and EMD power that is a little boxier and not quite as streamlined as you might be accustomed to. And here is the end of our 260. So, yes. Well, let's take a quick gander here at, we're actually going to jump down to Neenah, Wisconsin, and we want to see just kind of what is the snow cover like over in Neenah. Oh yeah, they've got a fair amount of snow over there as well. And it looks like somebody's out there actually with a skid loader, possibly clearing off the switching leads so that the crews can walk up and down and throw switches. So, I am going to make a little check here, but, oh, you know, we actually have a train that's coming up to Muscatine. Well, he might be stopping to work at the new yard, though. That's possible also. We're definitely going to have to see if we can get, pardon me. We're definitely going to have to see if we can get the train by Muscatine. If he shows up on the circuit there, the approach circuit to Hines fairly quickly, we'll switch over there. So if I go back, I want to check my ATCS for the Neenah sub now, and we'll see if there's anything particularly close by, or maybe that's just gone by relatively recently. And, you know, we have this beautiful view with our private host, Henry, over here in Neenah. So thank you to him for hosting at this location. And my ATCS server on the Neenah sub does not seem to want to load up. Decent train consist at Grand Mound around 7:32 this morning. All right, well, we can check that out. 6 inches of snow so far. So here in the Midwest, we're expected that there's areas that might get up to 14 inches of snow is the prediction between Wednesday night, Thursday into Friday. So it's going to be a question of of some efficacy, I think, too, for figuring out how well some of these camera installs hold up. But even beyond that, we'll be able to watch the blizzard progress in real time across various parts of Iowa and Illinois. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what transpires and exactly how much snow. But we're expected to be in getting about the worst of it here in eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, and kind of southern or south, well, yeah, southern Wisconsin. And up a little bit into central Wisconsin as well. So as I back this up, of course, I'm not finding any trains in Neenah either. And I am not 100% sure what is going on, except that apparently it's kind of a slow day for trains on the Neenah sub. So I do have lots and lots of camera locations that I would love to try to capitalize on next year. And the hope is 4 to 8 in our area. Oh, you guys are, wherever you're reading, it's way underestimated. I think it's going to end up being significantly more than that. Oh, you're going to get mostly rain. Well, that's interesting. Yes. Rain does tend to kind of make a mess of things sometimes. All right, so we're going to go back. And we did, in fact, find we found the J Heritage unit at 9:40 this morning. I had no idea. Honestly, I was just bouncing around looking at this. We've got the J Heritage unit leading a Q train through Neenah this morning. Well, that's fascinating. I guess, Tyler, if you're still on here, definitely have something to look for to make a highlight reel out of, because that guy's going to go by Stevens Point sometime later this afternoon as well. Lots of single stacks. It always interests me, the decision making that goes into loading these as single stacks versus doubles. I always assume that it has something to do with bridge clearance or tunnel clearance somewhere, and got an empty 4-pack of well cars going through. Oh, M357, not a Q train. All right. Well, yeah, I see the auto racks coming up here now on the rear. A couple of CN containers and some JB Hunt containers, and here come the auto racks. So 12:40. Oh, so I found it here, and as I find it here, it's going by Stevens Point at the same time. So, all right, well, hello, Brett. How are you doing today? Thanks for the input there, Paul. Definitely appreciate it. And M356 yesterday. All right. So that EJ&E Heritage unit apparently has made a couple of trips back and forth across the system. And let's see here. Passing the point right now. Well, so be it. But we do know now that it is apparently captured in this pool of service between Chicago and Duluth, or Chicago and Winnipeg, or however far they're going. And there's a Tier 4 GE motor going by. Mid-train DPU. CSX Philly sub. Single stacks only into Philadelphia on I-031 and I-032. Yep, that makes sense. And I'm assuming that's the same problem. Tunnel clearance or bridge clearance of some sort that creates that decision. And single stacks allowed on the UP's Milwaukee sub through Milwaukee due to a low bridge. Got it. Well, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, this is a Winnipeg-bound train, and that would make sense given the number that it has. Excuse me. And here comes the rear of the autoracks. Duval Ramp in Jacksonville. Interesting. All right. So, there's the rear of that. And we had another request to jump over to Grand Mound. Yeah, 7:32 this morning. So we'll go over there as well. So, just to do a little bit of recapping of the year. So, we're here at the end of 2022. And as you can see, 31 live streams, but one of those live streams is actually the Trackside with Tom that we're all on right now. So at the beginning of the year, I had 5 webcams going. It was the original 5, which were the Cedar Falls West and Carroll, Mills Tower, Washington, and Muscatine. And those were the first cameras that I got online. And so I put up 25 cameras with the help of others, lots of help fundraising, help with installs in a lot of cases. And we got from 5 cameras to 30 throughout the course of this year. And so I want to thank everybody for, for tuning in and watching, for the support of helping to fund some of these projects. I cannot thank everyone enough for the support of the various projects that have happened during the course of this year. So that, and I don't know how many cameras we're going to have by the end of 2023, but I have ambitious plans. So we'll see how much I actually get done. But there's some things in the works that I am very excited about that it's too soon to share them with anybody because nothing is really finalized yet. But I'm definitely excited for some of the projects that are coming up in the next year. So we have the gates coming down and we have our train coming at 7:32. Oh yeah, Belle Plaine. That's right.
Detector, milepost 2, 4.
So maybe there was 6 cameras at the beginning of the year. Oh, we have UP, NS, and 2 different CSX paint schemes going by on an eastbound container train. I don't know if this is a eastbound bird or not, but definitely an eastbound container train. So, yeah, maybe there were 6 cameras at the beginning of the year. Because Belle Plaine was definitely up. Washington, Muscatine, Iowa Falls, and Cedar Falls. Maybe those were the original 5. Maybe that's what it was. So either way, we went from either 5 or 6 cameras at the beginning of the year to 30. And I could not be more thrilled about all the progress that the channel made this year. Yeah, that was just a regular container train, but definitely an interesting lineup. So thank you for pointing that out. And we are, in fact, going to jump over to Muscatine for our final train of the day because we have a northbound about ready to roll through Muscatine. As I'm scouting out my ATCS monitor, and I believe, oh yeah, perfect timing, look at this. His headlights are literally just about to go by the intermediate signal there at 219.7. So beautiful view of the Mississippi River and the Mississippi River front in downtown Muscatine. And let's see here. LTG2. Yeah, that's very possible. So this northbound going by Muscatine, it looks like it has a BNSF leader and then a CP unit trailing. And, you know, this for all the world looks to me like a 261 type of train. I wonder if this is a, well, no, this would be about the right time of day, I guess. Excuse me. But for anyone that wants to hang around and watch, there's going to be a second northbound that's actually between Letts and Fruitland, and he's going to be rolling through downtown Muscatine here in the not too distant future as well. Yeah, this is about got to be a 261. So I think that is in fact what we are seeing. And yes, you can see how far back, if you look really close up here, straight underneath the Tuesday, you can actually see him still coming around the curve over a mile away. This is a very, very long train. PSR special, I suppose. 13,000 and some foot, maybe. Oh, there's the mid-train DPU, another CP unit. South-facing this time. So, yes, and kind of looking back at what we accomplished in 2022, excuse me, I have 30 cameras that are now in place on the Steel Highway webcam, and we also have, I believe that by the end of the year, there was 124 subscribers to the Steel Highway magazine. And so, for this being the first year, yes, 124 subscribers. I was very, very pleased to get up to, basically in the first year of operation of this new magazine, that I was able to get to 124 subscribers. I was absolutely thrilled with that. And, you know, it's a testament to everybody who's kind of gone out and spread the word and said, hey, check this thing out. This looks fantastic. Looks like no DPU on the end of the train. Just a flat car and maybe another open top hopper coming up here toward the rear. Yeah, well, a piggyback flat car actually, and then an empty coal hopper it looks like. So, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Our time is up for 2022. This is going to be the final episode of 2022. And I will come back out. I'll make an announcement when we're going to pick back up. It's going to be after the first of the year in January of 2023. So everybody have a fantastic holiday. And hopefully everyone has a wonderful new year. And we will definitely be back on the air at some point here, hopefully in the first week of January. So look for your email, look for Facebook for an announcement when that day comes up. So thank you everyone, and this is going to be the end of Trackside with Tom for 2022.